It's already set up.
Okay. Thank you.
You can use that.
Last time there was some problem, right? Okay. Good morning, guys. Can you hear me? Hello? Just type yes if you can hear me. Okay. So you can hear. Just type yes if you can hear. Can you hear? Yes? Yes. Only one can hear. Can anyone else who can hear? Yes, all of you. Nice. How many of you have started preparing current affairs? Earlier we had one session with regard to how to prepare. Are you preparing? Push it. Keep it there. It may fall down again. Yeah, down.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Yes, guys. Do you have any general doubts? Is my voice clear? Is my voice clear? Voice clarity? Yes or no? Yes, voice clarity is clear. See, one disclaimer I would like to give. Do you know what is disclaimer? Disclaimer. Hello? Disclaimer is something which we give something when we purchase an item or when we purchase a course or when we try to do something, there is a warning, instructive warning. And with regard to this current affairs, it is very difficult to cover the entire current affairs in the classroom. Hence, what I give is like the tip of an iceberg. It is just like a tip of an iceberg. Clear? You have to study, you have to work hard based on the way how we are moving. Guys, is it clear? If it is clear, just say clear, type clear. Clear? Yes. Okay. Clear. So don't think whatever I'm giving is the only current affairs which you will get for the exam. It is just an indication. One cannot cover current affairs in the classroom. That has to be done by the student's end. Student has to do it. Yes? That whatever I give is some kind of a guideline. Okay, first I would like to discuss, I'll be discussing around, I'll be sharing or discussing current affairs for about 10 hours, maybe in 5 classes or 4 classes or 6 classes, depending upon. What I would do is, I will try to touch very, very important areas. How we go about on a particular topic, you must understand. And like that, you must prepare on various topics for the last 17 months. Yeah. Hello?
कैसा मालूम?
बाबा
हाँ वही छोटा
Hello? Are you getting some voice disturbance? Voice disturbance. Computer. Okay, I think it's something mute mode. Can you all go to mute mode? Yeah. Someone has unmuted, I think. Fine. Okay. I'll discuss the first topic. Fintech. What do you understand by fintech? Yeah. What do you understand by fintech? Can anyone tell me? Have you heard about this word called fintech? Yes. How many of you have heard this word? If you have heard fintech, say yes. If you haven't, say no. Yes, not heard. Just don't worry. Say no if you haven't heard this word. No. Okay. Say yes if you have heard. So based on that, I will try to explain. Okay, fine. No, it's not about computer programming. It is something to do with the finance and technology. This word, okay, support banking and finance service. Yes, you're close. It's something of that sort. Yeah. Finance and technology. You have heard what finance is. You have heard what technology is. And fintech is the combination of these two words, finance and technology. Now you get some idea. Finance, what is finance? Finance is related to banking or anything related, anything to do with the financial aspects. And technology, something to do with the software and hardware. And fintech companies, when we say fintech companies, these are the companies which are connected or which are related to finance and technology. That you should keep in mind when you come across the term finance and when you come across this term fintech. Clear? Now, why are we discussing this? Recently, when we say recently, let's say 2 or 3 months back, our prime minister, our prime minister hello, yeah, this I'll try and explain. There was Infinity Forum. Have you heard about Infinity Forum? Infinity Forum. Infinity Forum. There was, yes. What is that? What is that event? Infinity Forum. Yeah, others, have you heard about this word Infinity Forum? Others, have you heard? Yeah, one, two, some heard. Okay. It is an event. An event happened. I told you in my previous class, from the event, we should move to issues. In the exam, events will not be asked, especially for exams like civil services and groups, group 1. They may not ask about who inaugurated the forum, Infinity Forum, or something related to fintech, which was inaugurated by Prime Minister. That sort of questions may not be asked. But from there on, there are issues related to this event that may be asked in the exam. Now, it is a kind of leadership forum on financial and technology, fintech companies. What are the companies which were involved in this Infinity Forum? There are 3 organizations involved, and I will tell you what exactly is the purpose of this forum. Right? What is the purpose of this forum? What are the organizations involved in it? And what may be asked in the question, as a question in prelims and mains in relation to this program, right? It was an event inaugurated by our Prime Minister in the month of December. There were three organizations involved. One is International Financial Services Centers Authority. International Financial Services Centers Authority, IFSCA. IFSCA. What does it stand? International Financial Services Centers Authority. What do you understand by International Financial Services Centers? Even if you don't understand anything, screen. Which screen? The screen which is getting appeared or the board? Still. Yes, is it bigger now? Yeah, is it okay? Yes. Can you see now? Okay, right, guys. What do you understand by IFSC, International Financial Services Centers Authority? In the name itself, you have. It is a service related to finances, and it is to do with international level. So, if there are certain international companies, if there is any sort of transaction to take that is to be taken place, for example, like if a company is transacting in 2 or 3 or 4 countries, more than one country, it has to be bound by the regulations of more than one country. So when they need finances, when they need to give credit or any financial matter related to their company has to be dealt keeping in mind the regulations of various countries, right? In these centers, in these international financial service centers, what they do, they try to give support to these sort of companies, right? Clear? And generally we have few places in UK, in US, in Singapore. In those places, you find a lot of international financial services centers. So to meet the demands, those demands, in India also, they try to come up with that sort of center, some sort of international financial servicing centers. And one of them is the GIFT. Have you heard about GIFT City? How many of you have heard GIFT, GIFT City? Yes. GIFT City. What is GIFT City? Gujarat International Financial Tech City. Gujarat International Financial Tech City. GIFT stands for Gujarat International Financial Tech City. GIFT City. Yeah, it is a very huge zone in which various places are included. Various special economic zones are included. Yeah, we cannot say just Ahmedabad as GIFT City. Clear? This itself is a separate entity. Clear? Okay, in general terms, fine. Now, do you get the essence of it? Why we call it as a GIFT City? Why we don't call it with any other name? Or what is the specialty of this Gujarat International Financial Tech City? The aim was in India, we don't have that international financial service centers. And they want to make Gujarat in this area as that place. That is the reason. I think way back, these plans were there in 2015 onwards. These things were coming up. And with that in mind, this GIFT City in collaboration with IFSC, this one authority, okay, and Bloomberg, these three organizations, under these three organizations, Bloomberg, you need not know much. It is considered as a news agency, a consultancy, or a financial analytical firm. They do various functions. This Bloomberg, yeah, with the coordination of these three organizations or entities, this Infinity Forum, a leadership forum on financial technology, was conducted through video conferencing by Prime Minister. On what date, how it was conducted, how many days it was conducted, which technology was used in conducting, all the stuff is not required. Even just to understand these three things, and that should be fine. And one more thing which you must understand here is, one point I will just tell you, I have noted down, which you must understand. This IFSC authority is a statutory authority. That you should keep in mind. You just cross check it. It's a statutory authority. It might come as multiple choice bit. Yeah, I think if you are aware of these things, that should be fine about these organizations. And one more thing, why this fintech companies are taking importance? What is the reason why these things are coming into importance? Can anyone give me, just make a guess, why these things are coming into prominence? Why are they considered important nowadays? You can make a guess. Do you know what is guess? Just try to give me an answer. Yes, can anyone give me? Okay, I will tell you why they are the growth drivers. This industry, fintech industry, it was in one of the estimates. These exact figures are not important. Roughly, in the financial year 2020 and 21, it was around $50 to $60 billion. Indian fintech industry. Indian? Okay, someone said, please explain. Which point you want me to explain, Muzamil? What I have explained in general, or which one do you want to explain? Okay. See, it is very simple. There was an infinity forum. It is some kind of, you know what is forum? Where they come and discuss. It's kind of meeting or a kind of conference. Just understand that way. There are three organizations involved and arranging this forum, this discussion, where all the scholars, important people, they come and discuss related to this. These three organizations, I've told you, Gift City, Bloomberg, and IFSC Authority, International Financial Service Centers Authority. This, and I have told you what it is to transact for international, to give services for international financial centers. What international financial services centers do, what they do in general. Okay, in detail you don't require. See, it is just a current affair. From examination point of view, you should understand, right? Not like economics and getting mastery. Yeah, that's it. And one thing, this Gift City is one of the first in India to come up for this international financial services. That point to be remembered. Based on this, they may give statement, one statement. If you have this understanding, you can, whatever we cannot judge what sentence he will give, examiner will give. But based on this understanding, at least you can make a guess and write the answer. Clear? If these points are clear, that should be fine. Muzamin, is it clear? Right? And one more point I was trying to say is, why fintech industry, fintech companies are taking important place in Indian economy in recent past is, we need to support with some arguments or data. One is the business it has is somewhere around 50 to 60 billion US dollars in financial year 2020. And by 2025, maybe within 5 to 6 years, they're expected, or projections are such that the figure is somewhere around 150 to 160 billion dollars. Yes, such a huge market is there for fintech industries. That is the reason the country's government, the governance creates an ambience, creates an atmosphere for the growth of these fintech industries. As part of that, this Infinity Forum was one of the measures which the government, as part of a good governance in the economy, they started doing something. Yes, that's how a civil service aspirant must understand. Clear? Is this point clear? This is one point. What are the other reasons why you think this is growing? You can make a guess. Just try. Why do you think that it is growing so strongly and so quickly? Yes? Just think, use your brain, apply your brain. See, the government is trying to do a lot of things for financial inclusion. Have you heard the word financial inclusion? You might have heard, right? Yes or no? Yes or no? Inclusion, financial inclusion. Yes, what do you mean by financial inclusion? Financial inclusion is, okay. See, there are some people, suppose if you want to transact, if you want to transfer some funds, you deposit amount in your bank, or you go to bank and ask someone else's account details and deposit the amount, and the amount is transferred. Or if you want to save some money, you put money in your account and that money is saved in your bank. So you have bank's access. It is a financial institution, and financial institution bank is offering a service and you are receiving a service. So you are included in the financial services. You receive service. And if you are in Hyderabad or somewhere in the town, if you are in a town, you will receive. Let us say you are in a remote village in Warangal or Karimnagar or Krishna, Godavari, in a remote village, or you are there in a tribal belt, forest area, where you don't have even a bank. What happens when you want to save your money? You will be saving money at your home. There, the banks are not giving the financial services. Those people, the people who do not have access to a bank account, people who do not have access to a credit card or debit card or any services which the financial, yes, something of that sort, they are excluded. The people, there are so many people who are excluded from enjoying the financial services which these financial organizations like bank, NBFC, self-help groups, so many groups, non-banking financial sectors, they give. Those services are not being enjoyed by them. They are financially excluded. So what governments do? Zero account finances, open zero account finances. Okay. Jan Dhan Yojana, or Prime Minister Modi, or these government schemes, Jan Dhan Yojana, all what they do, they force these banks go and give bank account. Even if they don't have 10 rupees or 100 rupees in the bank balance, give them. What they do, when they have some time or when they have some excess money of 100 or 200 or 500, they will deposit. That's how they bring the excluded, financially excluded people into financial inclusion. That is the meaning of this term, financial inclusion. Right? Is this point clear? The people who are excluded are brought into inclusion zone. As far as finance, we are not talking about society or social related aspects. Yes, all of you, is this point clear? Yes? Yes or no? Guys, you must tell me yes or no. Yes. So, when in the process of encouraging, the government starts encouraging this industry, they want to include these people, financial inclusion has to be brought. Government brings out, they carry out a lot of schemes. They introduce a lot of schemes with the aim of financial inclusion. At that time, what happens when you have phone? I think even in rural places, they have a number of phones. people use smartphones. They may not have many facilities, but still people use YouTube or social networking sites. They visit. They have smartphones. Using the technology, these government giving a stress, thrust, importance to financial inclusion and to the schemes. In that process, this industry grows, fintech industry grows. This is one of the facilitator for the growth of that industry. Clear? And another facilitator, another supporter, provider for the growth of these financial, technological companies or industry is the penetration level of these smartphones, tele-density, and all this. These terms are like, I'll tell you in simple words. Just forget about penetration of the smartphones or tele-density. You have number of phones. You have number of smartphones. You have more areas where internet is available. Like, clear? When these things are made available, automatically it facilitates, it helps for the growth of this fintech industry. Earlier, they used to come to only city or town for banking transactions. Clear? But now, even through mobile, even in your remote place, when there is a tower, when there is an internet connection, they can do some kind of financial transaction. Hence, this grows. So, this penetration of telephone services, internet services, smartphones also facilitate the growth of fintech industries. And another thing is, as we grow, this technology is growing. Technology, the growth in general technology, science and technology growth helps the growth of this industry. And another beautiful point which you can add in mains, and if asked as a statement in your prelims, you must be careful. Demographic dividend. Even a demographic dividend helps the growth of this fintech industry. How does it happen? Can you just make it? By the way, guys, see, as I don't have the personal interaction with you, I don't know how far you understand. Is my English clear? Am I going at a speed which you understand? Tell me yes, all of you must say. If it is yes, yes. Whether it is one or two, yes. Yes or no? Only one saying yes. 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 It's fine. Fine. Excellent. Right. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah. Suddenly, if I go at a fast pace, and if you don't understand, like how you asked previously, you asked me, I'll make you to understand. What is another point I have told you? What drives the growth of this industry? Yes? Guys? I told you demographic dividend. What is demographic dividend? What is the concept of demographic dividend? Yes, guys? Have you heard about this word? Dividend. Dividend you heard. Demographic dividend. Demography, what is demography? Oh, excellent. Dividend. Demo is people. is something related to population. A dividend is generally nowadays, earlier China had it. Now we are enjoying that dividend. It is like young people in simple words. I'm saying, I'm not going for technical definitions because I want you just to understand the concepts. Yeah. Young people are more. That means the people who earn income are more when compared to the people who depend on these income holders. For example, if you have more old age people, more children in comparison to youth or income earning people, Paytm, Muzafil. I'll come back to Paytm. I will come. Yes. You will get confused. Maybe after 10-15 minutes, I'll take that example. I will explain one or two terms. Okay. I will touch upon. Definitely, I thought you will ask one of you. Very good that you have brought that. I will tell you. Paytm is actually payment. That's not strictly speaking, it includes. I will tell you in a couple of minutes. Yeah. See, demographic dividend means people who are earning income are more in comparison to people who are dependent on. Earlier, even we had so many dependent people, young people, old people. Now India is enjoying demographic dividend. That means more youth we have, more income earning people we have, dynamic country, right? When we have more youth, who uses the phone more? Young people or old people or kids? Nowadays everyone is using. That's a different case. Generally, there is a tendency for young people to catch the updating technology. All the latest things they will learn. They keep updating all the latest apps, latest sites, latest these things. So this favorable demographics, favorable like no youth, income earning, youngsters, that is the demographic dividend topic is separate. Okay, I just explained, but here our point is not demographic dividend. When there is a demographic dividend, that means there is more youth. What we should understand here is when there are more youth, more young people, they get accustomed to learning more things, adapting to technology when compared to old people. When they try to adapt technology, use smartphones, use latest technology, that facilitates for the usage of all this, for the growth of this fintech industry. Clear? I wanted to make you or help you to understand this point. This way, it helps with the growth of this industry. Clear? And see, what happens if there is a growth of this industry? When there is a growth, what happens? What happens to the society? What happens to the economy? What happens to the polity? What happens to the environment? You should look at that way. What happens to the society? Tell me. Just tell me what happens when they have access to banking industry, when there is a financial inclusion, when your banking is at your fingertip, or when there is internet banking, all these things are there. What happens? Access to organization, financial organization becomes easy. You will get more credit, availing the loans and taking that loan for the benefit of the society, for the benefit of the economy, for the benefit of their studies, personal growth, it impacts, yes, the development occurs in the society, in the economy. So these are the ripple effects. These are the effects which you have. Clear? That impact is there. The knowledge grows and people try to understand what is insurance, what is finance. Safety is increased. People try to understand what is finance, what is insurance, and protection is increased in the society. So all are connected. One word, one point: finance, insurance, protection, safety, safety of the economy, safety of the family. All these things are improved, right? And then earlier, the trading stock involving in the latest happenings, latest market, involving in the market also increases once this industry growth is taken place, or once people involve, once the young people get in. See, I was attending in an interview of one of the top brokers, or these people, experts, because it's a current affair, it is happening. If you go through the news, there is something really, even today was an editorial with regard to NSE, National Stock Exchange. What is happening? There was one young lady, not young lady, old lady only. What all the things happened 5 years back, 10 years back. Have you heard about Harshad Mehta? Some big scam. If not at that level, in the recent past, there was a news, some scam with regard to National Stock Exchange. These people appointment, you must go through this. There is a short question either in prelims or mains related to this, so be aware. Okay, while I was attending, just going through an interview, they were saying one of the reasons for the growth of trade, stocks, trade growth of this points, this you might be seeing that Nifty, NSE, BSE, all these growing numbers. That means the growth in economy. It indicates to a certain extent the growth. One of the reasons for the growth is all these young people, some of the young people are getting into it because of easy access through mobile phone, internet service. All this technology brought them closer, and they try to use their own knowledge, their own survey, and try to purchase stocks, sells. All these impacts. These are the impacts for the growth of stock industry, economy growth. See how this industry pushes the growth. Clear? All right. The next one is, all this data is helped as some research for all the research works. This data, a lot of help. When it is available easily, there is a market analysis, and the data is the most expensive thing nowadays. And the data is utilized so well in the economy and for all the further transactions. These are the results you will have, outcomes for if this industry is grown, financial technological industry, if it is grown. And of course, there are some challenges. What are the challenges in this process? Sometimes the privacy may be breached, the secrecy may be breached. The data security, the privacy of the individual or who is using all this may be at risk. That is one of the challenges which needs to be resolved. And another thing is, awareness is still less, though maybe in cities and grade 1 towns you may have. Next, if you go tier 2, tier 3 cities or towns, still the financial fintech literacy is still low. It needs to be improved. Clear? That's enough. I think if any questions related to this industry, if you do a little bit of research, some Reading if you do, I think you should be in a position to write either prelims or mains or any question related to polity or economy. If something pops up, you should be in a position to attempt in your own words, answer it. Clear? And now, from the prelims point of view, two more points I will tell you. There are two concepts which have come, neobanks. What is neobanks? Neobanks are online only financial technology companies. Online only financial technology companies. Be clear, they will not have. No, I will, one second. Online banking, yes. There is one more term, challenger banks. Challenger banks are the banks. Now, traditional banks are brick and mortar. You have four walls, you visit and you come out. These are the traditional banks. Challenger banks are, they start using this online technology. When they start using online technology, online internet usage, all these things, so they are using the technology for finance and they are still sticking to this. They are also doing the business with a brick and mortar system. They will be known as challenger banks. It is not like one bank is known as traditional and another challenger bank. There will be a combination of both as well. These challenger banks use existing traditional brick and mortar, like where four walls, rooms, inside the customer comes, they discuss and interact, and that is traditional. Challenger, they go to the next level, they use the technology. This neo banks, when there is the word neo, N-E-O, neo, neo banks, online only. They are online only. They will not be offline. They will not have office brick and mortar where customer can walk in. For example, I will tell you. See, you use a lot of apps, right? App. Do you know what is app? In smartphone, we use app. You have Byju's, you heard? How many of you have heard Byju's or all these people, highly commercial people? Yeah. Some companies, have you heard app, phone app? How many of you have heard app, app? Have you heard? You have different apps, right, in the smartphone. So, yes or no? Can you hear? Guys, are you able to hear me? Yes. For example, I'll tell you, I have my own app. One app like IAS Viewpoint. IAS Viewpoint is an app I have, where I give some free content, free newspaper. Now, just to help the students, some poor and ordinary students, I give some kind of some content related to civil services. And there, see, when I'm doing a lot of work, I also need to survive. I also need to earn a bit of money. So what I do, I place a course, small course, let's say 100 rupees or 1000 rupees or 2000, some course, some test. I put the course there. When the student makes money, pays amount, how will I get? Online in the app, there is a course, a student purchases a course. How do I get the amount? I have a bank, but my bank, suppose let us say I have some X bank account, some ID base, I have a bank account. But there is, have you heard Razor Pay? Razor Pay X. How many of you have heard Razorpay X or Razorpay? That is neobank, online only bank. When a student pays that 1,000 rupees to me, when he buys my course from the smartphone, what happens? This Razorpay collects from the student, that's 1,000 rupees. What it does, it transfers to in my account 960 rupees. Just example I am giving, or 950 rupees. What he will do? He will take 50 rupees for the service. What is the service he is giving Razorpay X? He is collecting the amount from the student. If there is any technical problem, he is taking care of it. I am not very technical savvy or expert. I am good at content writing. I'm good at teaching. What I do, I prepare some beautiful questions, expected questions. I will sell that. What does Razorpay do on behalf of me? It collects that 1,000 rupees. But he asked me, hey man, I have done a lot of technical research work. What I will do, I will give you 950 rupees. I will take this 50 rupees on you. So he gives a service, technological service, financial service, and collects fee. Like this, we have these neobanks, fintech, Epify, Open. I think there are some things. Only I am familiar with Razorpay because I'm using it. Do you get that? These are neobanks. Neobanks are different, and these traditional banks are different. Challenger banks are who use both the traditional as well as technology. That's, you need to be clear. That may be a prelims question, not mains, but prelims point of view. And someone has asked me about the Paytm, right? Paytm. See, recently, I will tell you, that was also in news, Paytm. Now, Paytm is not a neobank. So it has that unified payment interface, all these transactions we have seen. We know it very well. It is now treated as a scheduled bank status. Paytm is given a scheduled bank status. Scheduled bank. Understand? Scheduled, sorry. Scheduled bank. What is scheduled bank? So you need not go very deep inside into that. See, you might have heard this word. Have you heard about pay your fee? When you want to pay the fee, scheduled banks, visit the scheduled banks only. Have you read that sentence anytime in your notification or while applying for jobs? Yes or no, Tim? If you say yes, I understand that you're listening. Yes or no? Clear? Okay. Scheduled banks are all these banks which you see, SBI, SDFC, Axis Bank, Canara Bank, all these banks are called scheduled banks. Why are they called scheduled banks? Why? Because this RBI controls these banks. Under a Reserve Bank Act, these banks are governed. Under the act of our RBI, these banks are governed. See, if someone has to control the lower bodies, for example, how does RBI controls the banks? It should be given some power. RBI should be given some power to control banks. It cannot simply come and say you control. This bank should get some power from somewhere. Where do we get the power? In India, from where we get the power? Where do we get the power? How? Why do you think police can use the lathi gun? Why do you think the Prime Minister or Chief Minister can control us? Who gave the power? Guys, tell me. There is some source for the power. If you don't have the source for the power, if you cannot receive the power, you cannot control. If you need to control someone in India or for that matter any country, you must receive power. Power. Where is the power generated? Where is the power produced? Not electricity. I'm talking about the power. People. People give the power to whom? Elected representatives. Power is given. There is a power in the parliament because people gave that power. But whom did they give power? They give to MPs and MLAs to transact, to use that power for the welfare of the society and growth of the economy. From the parliament, people make laws. Law, L-A-W, law. People make laws. According to that law, there are certain authorities established, certain organizations established. These organizations get power from that laws. Understand? That's how the power is generated, and people use the power which is vested in them. So now Reserve Bank has got power from RBI Act. RBI Act, Reserve Bank of India Act has got 61 sections and 4 schedules. Understand? Have you heard about the constitution and schedules? You heard about preamble? Guys? Preamble? Have you heard that word preamble? Yes or no? Tell me yes? Yeah. Oh, yes. Have you heard about articles in the Constitution? Articles in the Constitution? Yes. Preamble articles, we also have schedules. Schedules in the Constitution. Yes or no? Have you heard about schedules in the Constitution? Yes, you heard. Preamble, articles, and schedules. Like the Constitution, in an act, government makes lot of acts, either state government or central government. When the acts are made, there are schedules. That means at the end of the act, at the end of the Constitution, schedule means extra information is given in the form of schedules. And this act, the RBI Act, has got 4 schedules. 4. There are various sections, around 61 sections, 4 schedules. One of the schedule talks about the banks. The banks' names are written in the second schedule of the Act. These banks' names are written in the second schedule of the RBI Act. That's why we say scheduled banks, scheduled banks, scheduled banks. That's the meaning. Clear? And when, according to the Act, if a bank is considered as a scheduled bank, it gets some benefits from RBI, some control is there, some governing practices are there, some rules and regulations are there. So it will be looked upon. A new bank, a neobank, or something which is there, and a scheduled bank. When if you say something is scheduled bank, oh, it is controlled by RBI. RBI will be like a big brother. It will look after that. There are some rules, regulations, guidelines, which are to be followed by the scheduled banks. So I will deposit my money. It may be safe if I deposit scheduled banks. That is the reason you will find in most of the notifications, you may transfer. Nowadays, it has come online. Earlier, the notifications used to say, pay fee in scheduled banks, any of the scheduled banks. That's the reason. And why am I discussing it for so long is it is also a current affair. Why it became a current affair? Recently, Paytm Bank's payments bank, it was considered as Paytm Payment Bank was treated as scheduled bank. It was recognized as a scheduled bank. Keep this in mind. This is very, 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 very important. That's why I didn't clarify at that time. I'm clarifying now. There is a probability of this question appearing in any form in any of the exams in the next 6 months to 1 year. Yeah, based on this, you must do some work. What this act is, what is this all about? Do some background work. I told you, whatever I am discussing is not even a tip of an iceberg. Tip means top 1%. 99% current affairs has to be work prepared by you guys. Clear? And there were other payment banks also, like Payment Bank, Indian post payment banks. Clear? These are the things which are considered as important for the exam. Clear? I need not discuss how this will impact. So you must see what will happen, what happens if these payment banks, online payment banks grow. What happens if it is spread? What are the consequences? What will be the benefits? What will be the challenges? You do a bit of work on your own and work it out and prepare this way. If you find a add some current affairs for this one. Yeah. And one more important point, which may be important for your prelims. These payment banks, you understand, we use these banks for payments. Before Paytm becoming a scheduled bank status, it used to be known as a payment bank. These payment banks were introduced on the recommendations of which of the following committees? A probable question, most probable question. It is recommendation RBI. There was an RBI committee on comprehensive financial services for small businesses and low-income households, headed by Nachiket Moore. There was a committee. What committee is that? Committee on Comprehensive Financial Services for Small Businesses and Low-Income Households. For small businesses and low-income households. It was a Comprehensive Financial Services Committee. Comprehensive Financial Services Committee for two segments. Those segments are small business and low income groups, small business and low income households. And who is the head? Nachiket Moore, and it is also known as Nachiket Moore Committee. Under the recommendations of this Nachiket Moore Committee, payment banks were introduced. Though it is an event which happened, in 2013, don't think it is not a current affair. It may be considered as a current affair. The reason is recently some of the payment banks was treated as scheduled banks under the RBI Act of 1934. Under that act, when they were considered as scheduled banks, this becomes automatically a current affair. An examiner may test your understanding. When was this payments banks introduced as a question in 2020-22 in prelims? Possible. I'm not guessing that it will come, but there is a possibility for this question to be asked, or question may reflect in your paper. Clear? Is it clear, guys? Yes or no? At least tell me yes. I'm shouting for so long. If you say yes, I'll feel happy. Yeah. But if be honest, if you don't understand, say no, I'll repeat. Yes, clear. And I will tell you 2 points just to be added to this payment ban in this background. Possibility for the exam is there. When the minimum paid up equity capital for a payment bank is 100 crores. Paid up equity capital minimum. What we are talking about is minimum is 100 crores. For what? For payment banks. This can be one of the statement. What is the or not? What is the? They may not ask what is. Consider the following statements about the payment banks. It was introduced on the recommendation of Nachiket Mod Committee, and minimum paid up capital requirement is 100 crores. Clear? This fact to be remembered. And one more fact is there that with regard to these payment banks, 2 facts. Capital adequacy ratio is 15%. Remember, the 15% is capital adequacy ratio. Capital adequacy ratio, 15%. And another point is, okay, that is not important. Seller. Okay, fine. Remember this thing: 100 crores or 15% capital adequacy ratio. Clear? If these three things are, these are to be remembered, not to be understood. These are to be understood. Understanding is also good, but even you should remember in your memory these facts. If it is okay, we'll just move to another topic. See, I can quickly just give the points and go rush through. So I have a lot of data. I can quickly go through. It will not make any sense. Whatever the amount I have, I want you to help. I want you to understand broadly so that like this, you will prepare the other topics and try and improve your understanding. Clear? Is this okay? Yes, guys? Next is, tell you one point. Okay, anything? Do I need to go slowly or quickly, or is this okay? Tell me, okay or slow or fast, little more fast. Do I need to increase the speed? Okay, others? Others, guys? Yes, only for one it is okay. For another? Are you able to see what I'm typing in the chat? Yes? Yes? No. Now, can you see now? Now can you see? Yeah. Okay. One more thing. Okay. Next, one idea. There was guidelines for central public sector enterprises. What is public sector enterprise? You know, okay, not visible. CP. Now can you see? I'm typing there in the chat box. I think everyone can see in the chat box, right? Yeah. Anyways, okay. What is central public sector enterprise? What is disinvestment? Nowadays, this is very important. It's happening. A lot of privatization is taking place. A number of banks are getting privatized. So we must know these terms. Disinvestment guidelines for actually recently the center has released some guidelines for disinvestment of central public sector enterprises. There are different that categories are not required for you. Just understand there are public sector units, banks, insurance industries. There are enterprises like ONGC or LIC, corporations, enterprises, public sector units. These are all graded differently. At different levels, they're graded differently. So if you want, you just do some reading and understand. But just understand that it is a government company or most of the shares are owned by the government, mostly 100%, sometimes below. It is a government company. All the government companies, enterprises, service sectors, service companies are known with different names like public sector units, central public sector enterprises, corporations. Just be clear with that. That much is enough. Now, you might have read in the newspaper that government jobs are coming down. Lot of privatization is taking place. The government is selling the private government companies. Have you heard that? Yes or no? Have you heard that privatization is taking place? A lot of government companies are being sold. Yes. It is happening now. As it is happening, it becomes a current affair. And it has issued some guidelines. What are the guidelines? What do you understand by guidelines? It's like what to do, how to go about, how we should do one thing, how we should not do another thing. Like this, there are certain guidelines issued. When these guidelines are issued, there is a possibility at least some basic terms touched upon. Okay, here I want to just touch what is minority disinvestment, strategic disinvestment, and complete disinvestment. Disinvestment is nothing but selling the shares of the government in the company. Simply, in simple language, you understand that one. Selling the shares of the government. Government has one company, let's say BSNL. If a disinvestment process has to take place, let government decides, it's an example, I will sell 10%. So the government 10% disinvestment in that company. does 10% of disinvestment in that company. Clear? So, if the government sells below 50%, it has 51% ownership. That means 100 crores company, the government sells and gets up to 49 crores, 49% of it. Still the government owns the rights, ownership rights up to 51%. That type of disinvestment is called minority disinvestment. Minority disinvestment. That means they sell up to 49, not 50 or more than 50. Clear? And strategic disinvestment. There is another term called strategic. When you say okay, what is strategic disinvestment? It is selling more than 50%. Selling more than 50%. That means 51% of the ownership will not be with the government. So the management rights, the management is given to other party, to private companies. When the management is given to them, the government will not have much say, major role in deciding terms of what to do and what not to do. That is called strategic disinvestment. Strategic disinvestment is nothing but, can you hear me guys? Here? Can you hear me? Just type yes or no, I'll understand. Yes? Yes or no? Yes? Can you hear me? Yes or no? Yes, okay. No, I get, because I am unable to see your faces. At least you can come on cameras if you have, so that I can have a bit interaction. Guys, if you can show your faces, I can at least read from your faces that you are able to understand or going, something is going inside. Otherwise, it's like no speaking to the computer monitor. Okay. And complete disinvestment. Complete disinvestment is completely 100% sale or giving control to the private industry. Clear? Just be clear with these three terms. Minority disinvestment, when they sell below 50%, and the government retains 51% and the management rights. When they have 51%, they will have the management, how to go about. Strategic disinvestment, it is where the 51% is transferred to the private and the management is transferred, and the complete disinvestment. And in fact, this new public sector enterprise policy came in the month of February last year, way back, 1 year back. New public sector, before introducing not this budget, before introducing the last budget, they made a policy. And then probably I think November or December or Jan, at that time they made some guidelines on that. After the policy, some guidelines. That's why I thought of sharing with you. Just keep those points in mind while you prepare. Clear? Okay, and what you can, one more point. Okay. Do you know domestic systematically important insurers and banks? Domestic systematically important. Domestic systematically important insurers. Government actually every now and then tells, okay, these banks are domestic systematically important banks, domestic systematically important insurers. Their companies will be under strict guidance and regulations. They give these things, they name them because they are too big to fail. Let us say SBI, ICICI, and I think SDFC. These banks, every year they nominate or tell. They say these banks or these companies are domestic, systematically important banks. Domestic systematically important banks are SBI, ICICI, and SDFC. Insurance companies are LIC, GIC, and New India. There are three companies: Life Insurance Corporation of India, General Insurance Corporation, and New India. These three companies were named as important, and these three banks, SBI, ICICI, SDFC. Clear? They may come, they may not come. Not very important. But if suddenly there is a thing like they may give, what makes the government to nominate or denote or state these names? What are the considerations? What do they think before nominating or before telling these names? What do they think? Number one, they think, is it a big or small? Very big. It's very big, so it cannot fail. Suddenly, SBI cannot close down and say, put IP, we are closed, all the investors' money is gone, all the depositors' money is gone. They cannot say because it's too big. It cannot fail. Their management practices, their rules, their regulations, like that, they take into all these factors, and they will, when they say government says so, government will not keep quiet and just be there. They will be under more scrutiny. They will be under guidance and they will be under surveillance. They'll be checking more when compared to other banks and other insurance companies. Clear? Is this clear, guys? Just on that note, keep that in mind. Anyone, if you don't understand, say, I will tell you. I'll repeat. Yes. Okay. And another point, another topic, actually, not algo trading, algorithmic trading. The full form is algorithm. You have heard about algorithm word. If you have heard that word, that should be fine. Algorithmic trading will be known as algo trading. Algo trading is a software. It is a computer assisted buying and selling of stocks. They will see in the stock markets, people buy and sell using their brain. And sometimes they use these softwares. Based on these softwares, what does this software do? They analyze which shares are profitable, which shares are not profitable. Based on that, they will they will feed. You know what is artificial intelligence? What is artificial intelligence? A person does, suddenly a fly comes, I will put my hand. Okay, that is intelligence. Sorry, instinct actually. That is instinct, not that one. That's not intelligence example. There is an activity, a process. If this person comes, Y comes, I will not have a way, I will go this way. That's the intelligence. I use my brain. That logic is applied in the machine and becomes artificial. The machine doesn't have brain, but it uses the artificial intelligence, the intelligence input given inside to this machine. Using artificial intelligence, these softwares buy and sell shares such a way the buyer of this software or the person who is using this technology gets some profit. That is called as algorithmic trading or algo trading, which is taking place nowadays. For the few years, it is taking place. Why we are discussing this is in the recent past, I've told you, NSE, stock, these things have been in the news. When these things are in news, those related aspects you must see. Definitely there will be questions in prelims and mains. Because these are that's why students think suddenly if there are some questions asked on this stock related term, or they should have prepared by this time. There's a surprise, but be prepared. Clear? And this, they said they wanted to regulate. SEBI, who is the regulating authority for this? SEBI, this stock exchange board. They want to regulate algo trade. Algo trading is nothing but algorithmic trading. It's a pre-programmed computer design or computer strategies. If you remember those 2 points, you can say benefits. What is the benefits? All the benefits of artificial intelligence can be applied. Yeah, high speed, well educated. They will quickly, transactions are dealt. All of the benefits of this algorithm. Okay. When did this came into India? Algo trading came in 2008 itself. But in 2015, it was revealed that no, there is some kind of fraud taking place. Though this algo trading came in 2008, it came into newspapers and it became a current affair then in 2015 that okay, those who use some softwares, they have some tie-up with the higher management in these stock exchange boards or something of that sort. Some fraud is taking place. They were able to sell or they were able to buy first and then afterwards others are given importance. Something, allegation. We don't know the facts. Rumors came. These sorts of rumors came. So they thought, let us regulate. From there on, there were some studies conducted, some sort of surveillance was made, and nowadays it has come into news that they want to regulate these things. And further, we don't have the complete information. As we go by, we need to update from the newspapers. Because suddenly, in a very great way, this malpractice happens. It affects retailers, it affects the society, it affects the economy, it affects the society and the order of the society and the governance. That way it affects, ripple effect. Yeah, just keep this word in mind. Algo trading. And another thing, there were incentive schemes to promote rupee debt. All these things are common. Must keep that in mind. Okay, there is a word called, guys, are you with me? Feeling bored? 2 hours is too long to listen continuously. Hey, are you with me listening? Are you able to understand? Clear? Just tell me yes or no. Yes. Because at least I get that you are there with me. Otherwise, some people keep the phone. I have seen some institutes. They will see listening. Very good. Very good. Okay. No, even I have my own app. From there, I be doing something. Some people say, sir, I just went there and came back. So we don't know whether you're following or not. Okay, fine. Card tokenization. Card tokenization. RBI has deferred the implementation of card tokenization to, I think, June 2022. They wanted to postpone it to June. They may start from July 2022. What is card tokenization? Generally, when you transact online, you enter the details, card details, and there is a security breach. When there is a security breach, the fraud takes place. To avoid this, instead of security, these numbers for the card, some kind of token they want to give, some kind of token. What that is, how they want, with a picture, with some code, or some kind of not easily understood figure, or pictographic stuff. We don't know how, because they have postponed it to June or July this year, 2022. But what it is instead of giving those numbers, instead of using the card numbers in the transactions, we will be using a token instead of the card. That is known as card tokenization. And that process is not yet started, they will be starting. So it will be definitely a future current affair, and just keep that in mind. Is this point clear? Only one point I explained. Is this point clear? To the big topics, I will tell. What I'm trying to do is one day economy related, another day polity related, another day environment, science and technology, another 2 hours, let's say international relation, all the current affairs I will touch upon. And a disclaimer I repeat, please don't think this is the current affairs. It is very small thing I am giving. You need to do a lot of work. It is just the way I'm showing. This is how we must prepare. Clear? Okay. And with one small important topic, we'll wind up, we'll close. Good. Internet shutdown. Internet shutdown was news. Have you heard about internet shutdown? Yes? No. You know what is shutdown? You know what is internet? Internet shutdown means no internet. When we say internet shutdown, there is no internet connection. Suddenly, there is a problem. Let us say in in RTC Crossroads or Liberty. Suddenly, there were a lot of fights and every stuff, and it happened to be a fight between like no on the RTC Crossroads you have two segments. Let's understand one set of people outsiders for the state, other people insiders. In the sense, people who came from Gujarat, Maharashtra, all these people are selling. Other side, people who were born and brought up in Telangana are selling. This is example. People with the support of TRS party, Telangana, this one. What they say, all these businesses are taken by these fellows and they fight a class war. Locals and non-locals, and there is a fight. And it is turning out to be a social chaos, social confusion. Suddenly, WhatsApp groups, see, Telangana, our own people, we are getting attacked. 100 groups, 1,000 groups, 10,000 groups, the message is circulated. They are non-locals. Hey, we are Gujaratis. We don't have any place. Please send a request to Modi and all those people to ask KCR to protect us. And we are here suffering. All the Gujarati people, community people, they spread in WhatsApp and Facebook. And another Maharashtra, maybe Maharashtrians, they in their groups. So a small fight between a petty fight between two guys, two neighbors who have been neighbors for 10 years in those two shops turns out to be a class violence. Then the police, then the intelligence decides it's very difficult to control. And so, well, let us shut down the internet. When the internet is shut down, you will not have your WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, or none of the channels, nothing is available, and you'll be struggling. You will not be listening to our lectures. What is the good thing? What is the good thing? Can someone tell me? Just tell me. Because of this internet shutdown, what is the good thing? What is the good thing? Yes, no good thing. The problem will come down. The problem comes down. What is the bad thing? Bad thing is I cannot take class. I cannot take lecture. I cannot speak to my students. I cannot come here, or even if I cannot do any transaction. Another thing, suddenly I did not bring money. I wanted to have a coffee after now class is over. I'm going. I'll have a coffee and go. I want to pay. My payment banks will not work. UPay will not work. What is the tragedy of the people? Someone wants to pay fine. Someone wants to pay examination fee. It will be a struggle. Clear? So there will be problems, right? And what happened was, now why we are discussing is suspension of telecom services, internet, and its impact is the name of the report. There is a report, suspension of telecom services, internet, and its impact. It was submitted, or it was presented in the parliament by a standing committee on communications and information technology. There was a committee in the parliament. The standing committee's name is Communications and Information Technology, Standing Committee on Communications and Information Technology. it submitted its a report. The name of the report is Suspension of Telecom Services / Internet and its Impact. These are very important. That's why 3 times I have told the name. I have said this name. And this may come either in prelims or mains, very important. And you should have to see all these general things. I will not explain what are the benefits, not your losses. What is that you all generally understand. If there is no internet, what are the losses? There may be 1 or 2 good things as well. Yeah. And what they told is they have advised some, they have given some guidelines. See, is there any possibility to only cut down WhatsApp, Facebook Unlimited, and allow payment banks, allow some education institutions to carry on like that? Various guidelines have been given. You go through those guidelines, understand those guidelines. In the light of that, a question may be framed in prelims or mains. But I will give you 2 points you must remember in the background of this. Before 2017, internet shutdowns were ordered under criminal CPC section 144. Okay, CPC, that is criminal CRPC section 144. That gives the power for the people to order shutdown and they will shut down. After 2017 or from 2017, temporary suspension of telecom services where they draw power from the rules which were framed in 2017. Those rules were framed under Indian Telegraph Act 1885. Be clear with this too. Before 2017, the temporary suspension or internet shutdown was in operation or was ordered, or it is to drop. If they have to do some extraordinary activities, they should have power. The power is coming from CRPC section 144. These sections are not required, but just criminal procedure, this one code. But in 2017, rules were framed. What rules? Temporary suspension of telecom services, public emergency and public safety rules, 2017. If rules have to be formed, they should be formed based on some act. What is that act? Indian Telegraph Act 1885. Based on that act, these rules were formed. And from 17, if they have to order, this is the source. This, from examination point of view, important, guys, right? And any doubt? With this, we'll wind up the class. Okay, if you don't have doubts, please type no. No doubts? Okay, guys. If you are done, I'll wind up. Okay, thank you, guys. See you. Okay.
Well,
He changed the